Hi guys! Today we're gonna answer all your questions.
Yes, we put a Q&A out on our Instagram, so we have all your questions here and we're going to answer. First question, actually, a lot of people asked this in different ways, and they said, how do we stay so positive with everything? You guys are always positive, you never seem to be like down, or like how are you doing emotionally? Because a lot of people are going through fertility struggles or IVF themselves, and they said that they're struggling, so they need advice.
It's all about mindset.
So I'll be totally transparent with you guys and say that when we first were in the first couple of years of our fertility journey, we were not emotionally okay. At least I wasn't.
Yeah, I know it was okay in the beginning.
I had a lot of trouble. I think I cried every single day, especially when I would go on social media and see like, oh, another friend is announcing a pregnancy, or I would get invited to a baby shower or someone's birthday party and there were all these little kids and babies around. It was a very difficult time for me and I got pretty low.
Yeah. Then we start thinking about if it's happening, it's happening. If it's not happening, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And that changed a little bit the mental set.
I think what happened was we had never envisioned what our life would look like if we didn't have kids. It's sort of like a given. You say, okay, here's the steps that I'm going to take in my life, and I'm going to have kids, and then go on. And then suddenly it was like, hey, it's not as easy as we thought it was. What would our life look like without
kids?
And so we both had to do a little bit of like a step back, take a break, and envision a life without kids and how we can make that life happy and fulfilling.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And we take a year. Like we travel, we do the harder stuff.
I did therapy.
She did therapy. But we even arrive a point where we will say, hey, we love our life right now. Like we don't need to have a kid, you know? We have this cat.
I don't know if you can
Micha! Vieni qua! Micha!
Micha is a huge source of happiness for us. She's always funny.
Her happiness.
Always making us laugh. She's crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like Alessio said, we were able to find a sense of peace with whatever the outcome of our journey might be. Whether we end up having kids or we end up not, we found a sense of peace, and I think that is a huge thing because it allows us to take the steps without having this huge emotional weight on our shoulders, like it's all or nothing. If this doesn't work, our lives are over.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of the struggle comes emotionally. So just to give some concrete ideas for you, if you are struggling about how you can help yourself mentally and emotionally, is definitely therapy. I really, that saved me. Taking some time to either journal or think about how you can make your life fulfilling in the future if your dreams of having children don't work out. Really sit down and think, hey, what would I do if this reality is not my original dream? Like, what can I do to make myself have a fulfilling life no matter what? And doing a lot of walking helps me. And finding hobbies helps me release like tension emotionally.
Hobby. It is number one. Don't stay in a one spot yourself, because then your mind start too much thinking and you start go depressing. Yeah. So that's why it's always about your mind. So you want or really want a kid, you don't have it, and your mind gonna make you go down and depressed. If you looking for this is gonna be a gift, and then I'm working for the gift, but if it's not working for the gift, I'm gonna be okay anyway. Your mind is prepared, so no expectations, and you're gonna have beautiful life, doesn't matter what.
Yeah, we really have some good examples in our life of people who weren't able to have kids and went on in their life, and they are amazing.
They're amazing.
Like, amazing people. They do so many amazing things. They have rich, fulfilling lives. So trying to surround yourself with those types of examples and also reminding yourself that there are ways to have a fulfilling life no matter what is important. And then for me, the last thing was just a lot of prayer, a lot of listening to like prayer and positive, uplifting messages is super important. Let's also say really fast, like, what would we do if we end up like not having a child after our fertility journey?
The same what we was doing before.
Yeah, I mean,
like we live our
hobbies, travel,
life,
friends
like
and family.
Yeah, friends and family, travel, and
I still think that like we have a lot of nieces and nephews that are important to us. So helping to enrich their lives is amazing. I want to do a lot of volunteer work. Like there's so many things that we can do to give back
in other
ways
circumstances.
too, so.
Yes, example like for the nieces is a good point, because like yes, we don't have a kid, but we have so much nieces, and then just them see growing, you do a present for them, make their smile for a moment. It is a nice thing too. That is fulfilling too.
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked how I'm feeling physically right now with the cyst and everything going on.
Because for the people cannot see yet maybe the previous videos, now we have a point, maybe we need to do another surgery. Actually, they told us, can we need another surgery? They suggest us, can we need another surgery and then do the transfer immediately? Like we should stay a month in Italy, and this looks like the option. Right now, we want to talk with the surgeon in Italy. We'll see what he gonna say about it and why they decide, okay, we need to do the surgery. We want to just, a little bit of confidence. And then after that, take a decision. But I telling you, because we answered to the first question, why you are always positive. When we read the possibility of another surgery, I think it's the worst news ever so for far, us. Yeah. Like it was like a really bad day.
Shock.
We're shocked because surgery, it is something that we don't want to do it for. Guys, for surgery, I'm not going surgery. So she going surgery. So why are you feeling, Amore, with this?
So I will say mentally, since we got that news, I've been struggling a little bit because I have, like, even though I've done so much surgery, I have a fear of surgery. I struggle with anxiety, and so I'm always thinking about, like, all the scenarios that can play out. Like, I can't just walk up and say, okay, whatever happens, happens. My brain wants to think about every single thing that could possibly happen, which is not the best thing. So I'm struggling a little bit with the fear of surgery. I know that it's all going to turn out okay, but it's out of my comfort zone, and it's a new experience because it's going to be in Italy with a different way that it works, different steps, different doctors, different setting in the hospital. So there's a lot of things that are factoring on me mentally that are making me a little bit anxious and kind of just fearful, I guess. Physically, I'm doing pretty good, honestly. I don't have pain right now. My pain is managed with the birth control that I'm taking. It's suppressed all of that endometriosis. And like we said in a previous video, the cyst did shrink from, it was 10 centimeters, and now I think it's 7 centimeters. So I think it's down lower where it's not giving me symptoms. I think with the pain that I had before, it's like the cyst grew big enough to where it was suddenly symptomatic and causing me pain, and now it's back down, so it's not causing me pain. So physically I feel okay.
And that is the concerns about the Italian doctors. Like when Jessi not gonna have any more the spill, the cyst gonna grow up, and then she's gonna have not just the pain about to be pregnant, but the pain about the cyst, and then we don't know how much can grow again. 10 can go 20, can explode. That is the concern.
Sort of good and bad.
Sort of good and bad.
To answer the question as a whole.
Yeah.
Have you thought about taking a break from IVF?
Honestly, no. We don't think about that because we are so close for our transfer.
Yeah.
But we need to see after this situation and after the 2 embryos how it's going, how we're gonna be. Because if it's gonna be surgery, it's gonna be transfer, more maybe cyst gonna pop up, maybe we think about it to stop.
Yeah, I mean, we already did take a break a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and actually I was regret to take the break at that time. So I need to think about, you take the best decision in that time. In that time we was thinking to take a break, And then
I'm
I
personally
regret.
glad for the break.
Yeah, but I regret because I said, oh, now we have all these problems. But who knows at that time, you know? So we'll see. For now, the answer is no.
Do you know the importance of food for endometriosis and fertility? So we get this all the time on our videos, and we've answered it already. And I know it tries to come from a good place, but it's something that irritates me because I feel like we answer it all the time, and there's always somebody who hasn't seen that answer. And it feels a little bit judgmental, to be honest. So yes, we do know that food and diet and exercise and stress and all these things can affect endometriosis symptoms and fertility. And to be frankly honest with you guys, the last 3 years, we have focused so much on that. Like, I have done everything I can holistically to try and help our fertility, help my endometriosis. First of all, that is not a cure for endometriosis. It is just something that can help people with their symptoms. It can take off the pain for some people because it reduces inflammation, but it totally depends on where your endometriosis is, how it's presenting, how widespread it is, if it is involved in nerves or muscles. So it's not like a one thing fix all for people. And I think that's so important to understand, because people who try diets or to go gluten-free, dairy-free, plant-based, and they're not getting the results that they've been promised can feel really bad. And it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that's not working for you when it's worked for someone else.
Exactly.
I've done all those things. We've tried going gluten-free, dairy-free, eating plant-based, cutting out meat, taking certain supplements, castor oil packs, massages, like abdominal. I've literally researched everything that's out there holistically on the internet, and some of it helps a little bit, some of it doesn't. Sometimes my body responds at one point and then it just doesn't respond anymore. It's just like, there is no way to say, hey, this fixes your problem.
Yeah. And then if you watch our video with our expert in endometriosis, when we answered that question too, he said food don't help endometriosis. You can, like Jessi said, reduce the symptoms, but endometriosis, you don't cure endometriosis. But we eating really healthy. Sometimes you see me eating some not good stuff, but it's me, Jessi's not eating. And then if Jessi eating one cookie, that cookie no make Jessi severe endometriosis.
Yeah.
And then Jessi have stage 4 endometriosis with really high
nerve involvement,
other things. So in her case, it's no work. In the other people, can maybe they have stage 1, eating less this, can to be less inflammation. Yes, of course, and maybe but they have a different stages, the endometriosis, a different stage, the everything.
And I want to say too, it's hard to say like, oh, eating this can help your fertility when people have hundreds of different reasons for what's causing their infertility.
Yeah.
For example, for us, my endometriosis, but specifically why we had to start doing IVF is because my tubes were blocked. Okay, so adhesions and scar tissue deformed my fallopian tubes, filled them up with blood, and when they are like pulled and knotted, there is no food that you can eat that's going to fix that. They are already damaged and scarred up, and it won't do what it's supposed to do. So there's no way for the egg to meet the sperm, to travel into the uterus as a blastocyst. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
If you have a different reason for fertility that might be caused by something else that could be food related or inflammation related or whatever, maybe it works for that person. But it just frustrates me so much when people act like, oh, well, all of your problems can be cured if you just did this specific thing.
Yeah.
So it's not to say don't try, because I've tried everything. Feel free to try everything that you can, because maybe it'll work for you. But don't feel discouraged if you're trying things and it's not working for you and people continue to tell you, oh, just don't eat dairy and all your problems will be solved, or oh, don't stress, you just need to stress less. It's one of the things that rubs me the wrong way. I could go on and on about that. Can you go into detail about the healthcare system in Italy versus the US? Are wait times in Italy as bad as they say they are? Like if you're going to go do something in Italy, like a procedure, do you actually have to wait a really long time to do it?
It's hard to know. It's hard to know because looks like in this case they're gonna make us to do immediately, and in other, I think it depend on what you try to tell me. Do you go in the AR and then because you cut the arm, whatever, you go immediately? Experience, US and Italy looks the same. Pay or non-pay. I stay here in line. Yeah, waiting.
Because here you're like, I can't get into a doctor's appointment for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, Jessi, for the surgery, we schedule in 2 months. Okay, it's not okay. Italy tell you next year. It is at the same time. So to be honest, I don't see this. I pay, so I'm more sophisticated than Italy. I see the same thing.
Also in Italy, they have public and private options. Yeah. So public is the one that's funded. You don't have to pay. But if you want a specific doctor or you want to move faster, you have the option to pay private.
Exactly. And then you need to always remember North Italy, South Italy, two different realities. North, it is a little bit more advanced. And then in the North Italy, maybe people have a little bit more money. They go to the private. They're doing, because let's say you're doing a scan, okay? It's not urgent. So they write, it's not urgent, it's just a scan. Yeah, maybe you wait 3 months for a scan. But if it's urgent, you go immediately, you know? And maybe in the South, maybe the waiting time, it is longer, but depend. So...
yeah, for example, our IVF, if we did a public place...
in Italy, it was free, but you go in the list. And so maybe you was waiting a year.
We did private.
We did private
with pocket
immediately.
Yeah.
Like the day after.
So it's a little bit more complicated than just saying like general.
Say yes or no. Yeah. No, it is depend which part you live in Italy and US, but to me it's the same. Ok, guardate qua la miccia. La miccia dorme con noi. E lì c'è il mio amore che adesso ci dice ancora the last question. Okay. By the way, one question that people ask about Micha is what Micha like to do in the day. Well, she loves to sleep, she loves to eat, and she loves to go inside her tent. And yeah, that is Micha life. Beautiful life. And she play all the time. And she loves to run and destroy one carpet.
They also asked if she's bilingual.
Oh,
she is bilingual.
She is bilingual. Now she's moving the tail like I'm gonna bother a little bit her. Tick tick tick. Oh! No, Micha!
Oh, look what you did.
Okay, so Bucky's and Jessi's.
Out of the shower. Fresh out of the shower.
The last question. We have one more question about the...
Yeah, we do. So people are asking so we have 2 embryos right now. Mm-hmm. If the first one is successful, are we going to do the second one also? And like if we make more embryos after, what are we going to do with unused embryos, basically?
Oh, wow. Beautiful
that's
question.
Like, I didn't pose it correctly, but that's the like general
question. I remember one thing. When we was doing the embryos over there, we have 7 in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I want all 7. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because you're going through so much, you want to try all 7. Because it's no means that you have 7 and all 7
right.
and go through. For now, what we was thinking, tell me if I'm wrong, but we want to try to do both. Mm-hmm. And then... if we both going, we stop.
Yeah.
We stop because it's not make sense make more embryos and then leave it there.
Right, just for like maybe one other child.
Yeah, for another child. No. If we're gonna make 1, we're gonna stop. If we make 0 and then let's take it, then we're gonna have 5 embryos, we're gonna try all 5.
Yeah, you got it. That was right.
Yeah. So
that's the answer.
That is the answer. So guys, thank you so much for staying with us and comment below, subscribe, And if you wanna more answer questions, I know it is maybe next week we're gonna answer the biggest question, right?
Yeah. There's one question that we keep getting and we haven't answered it
No, I
yet.
haven't answered yet. Maybe you can figure out what is it.
But I think it deserves its own video.
On video.
Yeah.
Ok ragazzi, ciao e buonanotte.
Buonanotte.
Anche da Micia che è scappata, she's run. Ciao.